Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Because now I know when something happens in our lives that is unexpected, you have to go into it in order to ever have any hope of coming through it. So when you go, guess what? When you come out the other side, you grow.
Brought out more in me than I thought that I didn't even know that I had.
That has given all of us a great hope for what we can do with our own messages, our abilities to deliver, but most importantly, to deliver it in an authentic and very, very intriguing way.
Have you ever been in something or felt something where the only way you felt you could deal with it was to leave, get away? I thought that was the meaning of control. It took me 4.5 years to stop looking around the room of my life, of my journey, of my purpose, digging in cushions for a remote that never existed.
Looking, re-looking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out things that do not serve you must go.
Those things out in this world that are designed to bring us down, to keep us down, put their foot on our neck and whisper to us that we're never good enough, they don't whisper. They yell at us from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, 365 days. When somebody asks you about yourself, don't you dare whisper. When they ask you to raise your hand, don't you dare half raise it. When they ask you something good about you, you scream it with all you have. Come on now, get up, get up. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are.
Greatest truth of all, that not everyone has to remain lost.
Charlie. I know you're looking. Sure did. I already knew I had to go to the closet and get the hat box. I'm lying. I ain't got a hat box. This thing was sitting right over there. Anyway, look, with all the others. Listen, everybody. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Laura Michaels Harrison. I'm just so happy to be here. Boy, what a weekend. Plus one. It was a short week going into last week because of the holiday on Monday. But then I had to cut my week short on the back end because those of you who were following, what a weekend. Going backwards from Saturday, because yesterday I didn't do much but sleep. Really, I did. I had to force myself to just Namnio gay kill it. That's what I did. Yes. So I relaxed Saturday night. I got off the plane when I got back from Cincinnati, and we went straight to the Stevie Nicks concert. And boy, I am not kidding you. For 74 years old, Stevie Nicks did the damn thing. She didn't take one break. She sounded phenomenal. She looked phenomenal. And I was like, yes, yes, and yes. If you get a chance to catch that show, don't miss it. She was Monday night at a different venue right here in Chicago with the full Fleetwood Mac band, but I couldn't go to both. So, but then Friday and Saturday, I went back, flew out Friday morning, went to Cincinnati, had the wrap party for the Peacock television movie, which comes out in November. I got the clip, y'all. I'm going to show you the clip. So funny. Thank you to my wonderful cast and the director, Stephen Michael Paul, and just all the wonderful people of Cincinnati that came out for the wrap party and the premiere of the trailer. It was a great time. My first movie, and it will be coming out, they say, in November, but on the trailer you'll see it says coming winter. But here's some more exciting news. God is good all the time, and all the time, got that right, God is good. They gave me another one before I left. Yes. Matter of fact, I meet with the director right after we conclude the show today. I'll tell you more about that as it develops. It's called Sugar Daddy, and so excited about that. And then there's the Hallmark movie coming up next year. So really happy about that. Who knew, right? So I've got a great guest here today, and he has great hats. He has a wonderful wife. They are incredible. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, here it comes. And listen, if somebody out there, if you're going to talk shit about my acting, keep it to yourself. I'm sensitive still. I'm serious. This is my first time. I'm sensitive. I'm just telling you, don't make me cry up in here. Because I used to do it all the time. Remember that? In the early days, I get all emotional all the time. I've gotten a handle on that. So anyway, without further ado, and listen, if you're offended by the N-word, this is one of them urban movies, right? And don't just say, okay, well, urban movie, whatever. That's what Boys in the Hood was. Look what happened with that. I'm just saying. So anyway, and I cuss. Here we go.
Mr. Cletus Goins. Look at this.
Yes. Church, I am so glad we had this time together today.
You are the worst!
What?
Your son comes to see you, and you still act like a jackass.
I'm not some whore, and I'm not some tainted slut. I'm your wife, my nigga.
Today, we're going to talk about transparency. I'm what they say, somebody that's cut from a different cloth.
So for you to be passing judgment on my brother like that is not cool. And isn't passing judgment against someone a sin against God?
I'm getting married, and you get to officiate my big day.
Take your ass on down the road with your narrow ass.
Telling me I can't come in the house. Talking about because my parole officer came over there and with the drug situation, all that, like looking at me from my past, saying I can't come in your house.
Boy, I ain't got nothing for you here.
He is the asshole of all assholes. I've just dubbed him the king of the heathens.
Are you ever gonna come back home?
Me and Mommy got some things to figure out. I promise you, we're working on me coming back home.
Let's go! You can see that I was self-defense. This dude put his hands on me.
So you like going to those strip clubs, don't you? You like hanging up there with them skanky hoes.
Y'all done hear me, church. Give me an amen, church. Amen. Amen. I said amen.
Lord have mercy. Okay. All right, get off the screen. Okay, there it is. So there it is. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, I'll let you guys know when it's coming. It's coming in November, is what they say. And if you have Peacock, it's a feature 2-hour film on Peacock. So who knows? We'll see. That's the Bella purpose. It'll be in full effect today, as it is every day, Monday through Friday, here on Bathrobe Moments. It's not a gimmick, not some clever prop. It is more of a reminder, an opportunity, if you will, that during this show, listen, the theme this year is Show Me Your Soul, and we're going to show you ours. That means me, the guest, all of us. So I want you to be interactive. This is an immersive experience. And today we have, so why is the bell? Because, it has a ring to it. Guess what? That's it. So does the truth. So when you hear the bell ring, it means tune in. Stop what you're doing. Wait, what's going on? I don't want to miss it. Trust me on that. Welcome to the show, my sidekick. She's my version of Ed McMahon. Been here all 6 years. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. So who do we have today? He's been here before. Charlie, shake your head. You were here before once, weren't you? Right. Okay. Now, you guys remember? And they had that cleanse thing, and it made all that gooey stuff. Remember? Right. And I showed the pictures of stuff in the top. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Charlie Xavier. I wonder if that's his real name. That's a cool name. He is the quintessential. I practice that word. Quintessential. There it is. Rags to riches story. Charlie, I doubt seriously if you were ever caught dead or alive in rags. You'll see, y'all. I'm just saying. Having been torn from his schizophrenic mother at birth and then raised in the care system by a group of unhinged and abusive family members. Wait a minute. Is this Charlie's bio or mine? Just saying. Charlie began the long, arduous journey of clawing his way out of the jaws of death. Pimps, sound like the movie. Pimps, drug dealers, prostitutes, and a smattering of high society were his introduction to life, and piece by piece, brick by brick, he built himself into the man that we see before us today. Now, he's got a whole bunch more. Well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to let him come in, and he can show you. Wait, he can tell you better than I can. But I say we just show you, right? So without further ado, he's been here before. Let's treat him like a first-timer, shall we? Roll out the virtual red carpet. Applaud by putting hearts on the screen, because here he comes. Charlie Xavier. Get ready, y'all. Share this out. This is going to be a good one. Uh-oh. Good play.
Hey.
I already knew. Yeah, you wasn't ready for this. You thought I was going to have on a softball cap like I used. I got a feather.
You got the feather too? Okay, you've outdone me this time. That's a beautiful color. That's a beautiful color. I really like it.
Thank you. How are you, Charlie Xavier, the coolest man in show business?
Hey, I'm very good. Thank you ever so much, Lauren, for inviting me on the show. I'm amazing. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm excited. You saw that trailer, right?
It looked great. It looked great. Well, I'm in suspense for the release. Can't wait.
Well, trust me, it's really good. If I say so myself. I mean, I don't know, because you don't get to see the whole thing. You only see those snippets. You don't know what the whole thing's going to look like. What they talked about, because those people shoot different. You know how it works. But anyway, thank you for that. How have you been, and how's your wonderful wife?
I've been really great. I've moved. I'm living in Spain now, so I'm living in Marbella, Spain. We've got a villa up in the mountains in a gated community here, and my wife's amazing. She's actually in Alaska at the moment, so she's seeing her family members in Alaska. So I've been home alone for a few weeks. So I've just been keeping myself busy, really, keeping out of trouble, keeping myself busy.
Mm-hmm. When does she come home?
She comes home on the 22nd of this month.
Okay. So what have you been up to since last time? Catch everybody up. I'm going to actually dip out, let you just get some personal time with everybody.
Okay.
Between the lines, I didn't give them much. Give them the rest, and then I'll come back in, and we'll get started.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So I've taken a little break, probably about a 2-year break, really. I was living in Italy, and I was just not really feeling the work vibe. I lost a lot of my motivation. I lost a lot of my passion. So I spent 2.5 years living in Sardinia, Italy, beautiful island, absolutely beautiful, great climate, crystal clear waters. It was very, very quiet. And I just really spent the last couple of years reflecting. And it's not until very recently that I've really got back into the swing of things. I found my passion again. I found my drive again. And I just really feel that at the moment I've come back and I'm 100 times, if not more, 100 times more effective than what I've ever been. I've got more passion. I've got more drive. I've got more ideas. And at the moment, I'm working on a project with a couple of my colleagues, and the project is called MI5. MI5 stands for Millionaire in 5 Years. So it's a finance investment company. So what we do is first of all, we solve the problem that people have with getting into investments, which is leveraging capital. Not many people have a lot of money to invest, so therefore they can't get ahead financially. So the first thing that we do is we set up lines of credit. So anybody that has a minimum of a 680 credit score, we can get those individuals between $50,000 and $250,000. And in a business line of credit, we set up an LLC, and we have very good relationships with the top 2 lenders, which is Chase Bank and the Bank of America. As soon as that individual then has their money, then what do they do with it? So we then have a range of automated business products, ranging from automated YouTube channels to automated Amazon to Shopify to Facebook Marketplace. And we then leverage that money and put them into these projects as to where they can break even within the first 6 months, double their money within a year. And then after that first year, then it's just plain sailing. You can have multiple projects running at the same time. And you can also have multiple lines of credit as well, and leverage that all at the same time. The crown jewel to all of this is that we have a gold hedge fund as well. And this is led by 6 of the world's most talented and elite gold traders. So they're trading gold, they're trading USD up against gold. They're in and out of the market within about an hour every day. They're scalpers, basically. So they're looking for these slight fluctuations, and then they're in and out. And that gold hedge fund pays out 22% a month.
Wow.
So it's a really exciting project. Super excited about it.
You sound excited. Are you guys excited? You want to be rich in money? Because a lot of us are already rich in a multitude of things, but money doesn't hurt. So here's the bell. Listen, well, you didn't. I heard you say Chase. I remember I went to them for some money some years ago, and they lived up to their name because they chased me right out the front door. Didn't give me a dime, right? But that was then. This is now, and things are different in the world. So, Charlie, let's go back to. I want to go back to. Let's back the car up. When you said you had lost or you just couldn't find because it was never gone, you just needed to do what you needed to do. What do you think that was all about when everything seemed depleted or your light had been dimmed, so to speak? What triggered that? And kind of take us through the process, if you could, about what kind of decisions and choices, because those are 2 different things. Decision drives choice, I believe. Walk us through how you found your way back. And found your way back with even more purpose than you had when you dimmed the lights for a second.
Mm-hmm. Well, the cause for me is pretty apparent. So I'm a worker. That's what I do. I'm a very active person, and I have a habit of doing too much. So for too many years, I was overworking, complete workaholic, totally focused on my work, working 16, 18, sometimes 20-hour days, very little sleep. I used to end each evening in the pub where I'd be drinking double gin and tonics, anywhere between 5 and 10 sometimes. And then also continuing my meetings, my team meetings, my sales meetings, whilst in the pub up until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then, getting up at maybe, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., going to the gym, training traveling all over the world, living in different time zones and working. And eventually I just burnt out. It caught up with me. And I got very, very, very extreme anxiety, which at first I thought it was a heart problem. So I went to a cardiologist, and the cardiologist sent me to a neurologist. And then I was in hospital multiple times because I thought I was having a heart attack. It turns out I actually was having a really extreme anxiety attack. And they gave me, the hospital gave me Xanax. And I was taking that for a while. Don't really like taking pharmaceutical drugs. Don't think it's a great thing. So I've been looking for alternatives since. And then I actually started microdosing magic mushrooms. So very, very, very teeny tiny amounts. So you're not actually hallucinating, but it changes your mood.
Are you on one now? I'll move my shirt. Are you on one now? I'm really wearing an all-white shirt. I don't know what
you're saying, exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting. So that microdosing thing, I've heard some of my friends refer to it. Yeah, I'm going on a journey, so they got code words now. So when you said you didn't see things, but it gave you a different, what did it really do?
Well, the first time that I took it, I did actually have a very mild hallucination. Everything just looked more vibrant and more colorful.
I know.
And the first first day that I took it, I had the most wonderful day. Everything was just amazing. I was in such a good mood.
Yes.
All of my depression and anxiety had gone. I was having no ups and downs and peaks and troughs like I usually have. I was just level. And it's incredible. Absolutely
exactly
incredible.
Right. I think that's with any mind altering or mood altering anything, because I don't call it a drug. I call it an experience. If it's the mindset you start with, and for me, it really did, like you just explained, created a bridge of sorts to get from one place to another, to remember us to what is important. And I'll tell you, I'm like this, folks. Anything that is not serving us, anything, I don't care what it is, look for the footprints, track it down. Something didn't wipe its funky feet off before it walked up inside of our sacred spaces. So fiercely protecting your gifts and your purpose in this world requires sometimes, you got to do what you got to do to get back to who you truly are. Can I get an amen? That's just the way it is. So I'm glad it worked. So when you came back from this experience, because it's never about just one thing, what would you say you brought back that maybe you had misplaced, thrown in a spiritual junk drawer or whatever? And just let me ask, because I might be assuming at this point, what do you consider yourself, Charlie? More religious, spiritual, a little bit of both, or none of them?
I'm not religious, but I am very spiritual, and I do have great respect for people that are religious as well. All religions, but personally, I don't subscribe to any particular religion, but I am spiritual, and I'm spiritual through direct experience. I always believe in the direct experience of spirituality and what that is, and then once I connected with that, there is a spiritual language in which the world or reality as we know it communicates with you, whether that be God, whether it be, many of the other deities that people worship. I'm undecided, but there is a consciousness out there that communicates with you, and you can communicate with it.
Absolutely.
And I think that once you actually establish that divine connection, then you become guided and orientated towards your divine purpose.
Divine. That's the key word. Listen, and connected. So I know I'm not trying to, we'll move on right after you make this point, because a lot of people hear these stories, but it's that piece right there, that intersection where you and whatever it was that clicked into each other like a seatbelt. Mm-hmm. Why do you think so many people, even though they desire that connection, just can't make it happen? What do you think, or what have you found in your day-to-day journey?
Okay, so I mean, my opinion of this is that there's too many things in the way. It depends on your level of consciousness and where you're at. And consciousness is something that's on a spectrum, let's
Yeah.
say. And in order for you to truly connect to this divine consciousness that exists all around us, you have to bridge the gap. And bridging the gap is about elevating your level of consciousness. So that could be, your daily practices, the things that you read, the things that you watch, the music that you listen to, every single activity that you engage in, your relationships, the way that you interact with the world, all affects your level of consciousness, and it will either reduce or increase your level of consciousness. And I think that's the battle, is actually bridging the gap by increasing your level of consciousness to the point where you actually are then vibrating on a similar wavelength to that divine consciousness.
Exactly. Law of attraction, all of that, everything is connected through that frequency and that ascension. Because one of the greatest promises, in my opinion, of all is the guarantee that when we seek, we will find it, which means you just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. So let's go inside this world of abundance, because I change out money because I had a scarcity mindset. I had all kinds of things that didn't serve me, imposter syndrome, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when I stopped manifesting or attempting to manifest money in and of itself and change that out to abundance, money came. So did everything else. Everything else got bigger, got better, got greater. It took everything that I already had and stuck an ER on it. That's what a manifestation of abundance does. So let's talk about, why do you think this, because you have the program, which you mentioned, Millionaire in 5 Years. What's the exact name again?
MI5.
MI5. Okay. Millionaire in 5 years. Why do you think it is? Where is that disconnect for most of us, Charlie, in your opinion, where, we just can't push it over the finish line? I hear so many millionaires say, well, once you make your first, you just wash, rinse, repeat. And a lot of people say that is the truth, but it's getting that first of anything out of the way. And I believe that, because anything that's a first, I believe all of our fondest memories come from those. Our first date, our first job, your first child, everything first. Because everything after that, no matter how many times you repeat it, those are all in a separate category. Whereas the first time is the only one that's in a first. So let's try to get people to where they can get to that manifestation of millions that first time. What do you think is the greatest disconnect that keeps so many people from believing that could be them?
For me, it's a subconscious mechanism. Every single aspect of our personality is already decided between the ages of 0 and 7 years old, because our mind is in a theta state, which is a dream state. Okay. So everything is going in. There's no filter whatsoever. Everything is going in. And once you hit the age of 7, then the brain then changes its frequency. Then you develop more of a super intelligence as to where then you can reason and decide to accept things or not. But before that, you don't. Everything goes in. So between those ages, you're basically learning everything about self-worth, relationships. You're learning about money, finance, your relationship to money and abundance. Absolutely every single attribute that you have is all part of a subconscious mechanism that's already preordained from the age of 0 to 7. So you're learning from the world around you and from what you see. So the disconnect is basically all part of that mechanism. It's completely subconscious. You don't know that it's happening, and it just filters into your subconscious mind, and then it sabotages those efforts. There are rich idiots out there that have just been born into the right situation, and their mechanisms are all built around wealth. So they have this kind of wealth and abundant mindset, but they're not very intelligent people at all. But yet they've got loads of money. And then you might have someone on the other hand that's actually incredibly intelligent, but they've received all of the negative reinforcement to do with self-worth and abundance, and they can't seem to make a dollar. And so, there you have it. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's what I think it is,
So, well, one of the things that I find very interesting about your program, MI5, is that it's different than what most people promise that do these sorts of things for people. Because I'll put it out there like this. I guarantee you, if we had 5 people that were interested in a program that could guarantee this kind of result, if there were one like yours that said in 5 years, or one next to it that said 90 days, most of them are going to run over to the 90 days because and you go, come on now, 90 days, it takes so many hours, 10,000 hours or whatever it is to master something. And I believe you have to, know how to empty the junk drawers of what you've already mastered in your life to know where you really are. No one is ever starting from zero, from scratch, because you've done something. So talk about why the number 5. Didn't you think that might scare people? Well, I ain't got 5 years. I want my money now, like that old commercial, J.G. Wentworth. Remember that? I want my money and I want it now. That's the mindset. Talk about that. Why the number 5 years?
Okay, so 5 years is a very realistic goal. Obviously, anything less than that's not very realistic, but it all depends on leverage. So what I will say is that we can actually do it much quicker than 5 years, but we don't advertise it because we don't want to set this opinion that and these really unrealistic goals. So it depends on where you're starting from and how much you can leverage. Money makes money. So let's say one person, we managed to get them a $50,000 line of credit, but we managed to get another person a $500,000 line of credit. Well, the person with more leverage is going to make money quicker. So they're going to get to the finish line much quicker than the person that's only got the 50,000. So it just depends on the leverage. Then you get that money working for you. And then you set up passive revenue. You should not have to work hard to make money. You should just be able to invest that money and put it into the right opportunities. This whole illusion that, work hard and, get a good job and then work for the rest of your life, I think that's BS. I think that in this day and age with the technology that we have, we can make money without necessarily having to work hard. Now, you do have to work hard on the opportunities and that mindset and the self-awareness. So there is a lot of personal development involved in that. Otherwise, opportunities will pass you by. But just to summarize, 5 years to become a millionaire is realistic. It's a realistic goal, and we don't want to set unrealistic. We don't want to present an unrealistic idea to people. Because that's not a good representation of the truth.
Exactly. Because, a lot of people with those 90-day or whatever it is, those unrealistic promotions, let's put it that way, bring people in and they expect Charlie and his team to have a magic wand that you're going to do all the heavy lifting. And all they have to do is just kind of stay back in the cut and you're going to make it happen. Now, I believe there are financial planners and people who can do that, wealth management experts. However, it's one thing to get the money, but it's a totally different thing to know what to do with it or how to hold on to it. Does your program address any of that inside?
Yeah, absolutely. So once that individual has the money, realistically, it's actually down to them because the money goes directly to them.
Yeah.
So once they have it and they want to go straight down to the club and start popping bottles and buying designer clothes and things like that, that's totally down to them and their level of self-discipline. But we are hoping that people will have a lot more discipline. But what we're doing is we're presenting opportunities. So, and they're all automated. Our team takes care of everything. So we present a range of opportunities. The hedge fund is actually the crown jewel of all of that. So that's where we start people by putting them into the hedge fund. They are expected to attend meetings. They are expected to learn about what it is that they're doing and receive that information. But to keep people on track, we have a community where we all support each other, keep each other accountable. And we actually go in there and we broadcast into that community and just present principles that we use in our personal lives to actually get to where it is that we're going.
Well, a lot of people, myself included. What, Lucy? Lucy's trying to get my attention. You want to be on the show today? Come here. So, riskiness, risk factor, risk. That's a nasty 4-letter word, I'm sure, in your world. But everybody's sitting there thinking, I ain't got no money to lose. I can barely keep it, So talk about that. Because I believe success requires risk in one shape, form, or another. What do you say to people when they push back and say, I don't know, Charlie, I just can't afford to lose this $50,000 or $5,000, whatever the case may be. I can't afford, to be honest with you, I can't afford to lose a penny. I mean, I can't. Well, I could. No, I can't. That's a mindset, because I believe this. I believe in being a good steward. How can you ask the universe or whatever you ascribe to be greater than you to give me nickels, dimes, quarters, and dollars when you ain't doing shit with the pennies? You know what I mean? You're not a good steward. So talk about that, because I believe that in order to be successful, you must be willing to accept the risk. Talk about that. What do you say to people when they ask you that question, Charlie? Is it risky?
Yeah, that's what business is about. It's about calculated risk. So the individual would have to learn about what it is that they're doing and basically decide on the level of risk themselves. But we're personally doing all of this stuff. So we don't have any separate book of Harry Potter spells that we use. Yeah. We're all reading from the same spell book. We're all doing the same stuff. So this is stuff that is tried and tested for us. Now, I'm a risk taker. I'm not a cowboy. I don't just go around just jumping into anything, but I take calculated risks all the time. And that is what investing is about. And that is what wealth is about.
There's the word.
And if you're not prepared to take those risks, you're never going to get ahead. You're always going to stay exactly where you are now.
So, Charlie, what is the current trend, if you will? I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, that you see as far as why people are choosing to consider doing something like what you're proposing here? I mean, is it for like retirement, for generational wealth, rainy day? What is the number one reason? And then we're going to take a break after you answer that. And when we come back, I'd like to talk about how a person gets started. What's that magic number? What number are we looking for? So go with that first one.
Okay, yeah, I think there are many factors. I think generational wealth is actually up there at the top, because I think everybody wants to leave some kind of a legacy, especially if they have children or loved ones. So they definitely want to leave that generational wealth and leave behind some kind of a legacy. And I think that's a very, very positive thing. But everybody has their own reasons, and it just depends on what their purpose is. And we all have different purposes in life.
Exactly. When we come back, like I just kind of alluded to, there are a lot of us who feel like it's too late, or, my life, my journey wasn't designed where I could start saving early in life like so many others. I was just barely trying to stay alive, to survive. That's a real thing, and it affects more people than you can imagine. But when we return, we're going to talk with Charlie Xavier about what number is the magic number for a person to be able to get started. I believe it's never too late. And when you're investing in something you believe in, i.e. your purpose, your journey, you can make anything happen. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Don't go away. Great time to share out the broadcast.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed.
Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lord Michael Harrison. We're here today with Charlie Xavier, all the way from Spain today. I'm still jealous, but I wasn't going to say it, but I am. So, Charlie, before the break, we talked about a lot of things, but I wanted to get into that magic number because so many of us think, we work for someday or one day. And I believe that when you bite the bullet and put something in front of you with a goal that has a date, some date or something that's a time or date that's on a real clock or a real calendar. Someday or one day is on neither of those. So it forces us to find things within ourselves that otherwise we wouldn't or might not discover because it's moving closer to us. So who is there a magic number? I mean, does it have to be a certain amount? What's the minimum? Who is this for, and how does a person get started?
Okay, yeah, I can explain that, no problems. Just before we move on as well, you pronounce my surname Xavier, okay?
It is? I said Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier.
Oh,
that's why most people don't believe it's my actual name, because it's the same name as the X-Man guy.
Yes. So how do you say it?
Xavier.
Xavier.
Xavier, yeah.
Let me try to write it phonetically. I'll be Dr. Lauren, but I still have a 12th grade education, y'all. I was honorary, don't forget.
Yeah.
Xavier. So how many people out of 5 get it right the first time?
Yeah, probably 1, maybe.
Okay, I'm so bad. All right, there it is, Xavier. So Charlie, you just don't say X.
Yeah, you don't say the X.
You just say Xavier. Turn the X.
You say Xavier. So Xavier.
You put too much on it. That's just too bougie for me. I'm a ghetto person. I'm just kidding. So I just want to know, where's that name originate?
Basically, the short answer to that is that I'm part Irish, part Scottish. My dad's actually half Jamaican, so my grandfather's Jamaican. But the Scottish clan that I come from is called the Commons clan. The Commons clan was the Commons clan was royalty in Scotland during the 14th century. And they were helping William Wallace, Braveheart, to defeat the English. But the Commons clan are actually French. So I think that somewhere through history, obviously we've kept that name, and that is that it's a French name. Or it could
I
be
love
Scottish
it.
as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than Jones, Smith, or Harris. But anyway, I might put a little twist on mine. It is. No, never mind. So let's talk about that number. When a person calls you, let's pretend, ding, ding, I just called up Charlie, and I'm like, Charlie, listen, I've only got $5,000. Can I do anything with you?
Well, I mean, the process is that we're leveraging the bank's money. So, I mean, this is one of the first lessons of finance. It's don't use your own money, leverage the bank's money. So the first thing that we would do is actually look at the person's credit file. If it's a minimum of 680, then they're in luck, because then we can deal with them. We just need to have a look over their credit file. We need to do a 3 bureau check, just making sure that there's no inconsistencies. And then at that stage, we're then approaching the banks and asking the banks for their money instead. So it doesn't really matter how much money you've got. You can actually leverage the bank's money.
So, Charlie, and I never even thought about this before. You guys tell me in the comments if you knew this or not. The credit score thing, is it the same all the way, across the globe? Because I thought our credit score in the States was just us. Is it the same there?
I mean, it's very similar, but I mean, the company is US based. So at the moment, we're dealing with the whole of the US. So all of our clients are in the US. Any of the private clients that we deal with are usually athletes, celebrities. We're even dealing with the Prince of Dubai, believe it or not.
Wow.
So they've got their own money to invest, but our focus is to really get the average person to the finish line and get them leveraging the bank's money, and then get them to the finish line of becoming a multi-millionaire. So that's really the focus for us.
And you're a small, medium, or large company, Charlie?
I mean, it just depends on what aspect of it you want to look at. So the automation aspect is really big. And then the hedge fund is huge. There's over $70 million in that hedge fund. And this is a private invite only hedge fund that you can only access through us. You have to sign like an NDA and things like that even to get into it and learn about what it is.
Okay.
But there is a team of three of them, three of us rather. There's myself and then my business partners, Brian and Eric. So it's just a team of three of us, but then we have an extended team we have an automation team. Then we have an extended team that's on in the hedge fund, which are the traders, and the CFO and all of their leadership there as well. But everything starts from just the three of us.
So have you seen? Tell us about a success story, if you could. People love to hear success stories, i.e. testimonials of how someone's life has changed. Have you been doing it for 5 years? So have you hit the 5-year mark with somebody yet, or still working towards that?
Yeah, we've not been doing it for 5 years. We've been doing it for a little under a year, actually. So it's a relatively new company.
Okay.
The companies that we're working with, for instance, the automation and also the hedge fund, they're older companies than what we are. So they're already established in that sense. I'll go for something that's kind of in the realm of rationality. I'm not going to go for something really big in terms of a story, a testimonial.
Yeah.
But we've recently helped a single mother with two children take out multiple lines now of business credit, and her passive revenue now is a little over $50,000 a year, completely passive. And she's done that within, I would say, a 4 to 6 month period.
Wow.
So that's really impressive.
It is, and it changes everything for her and those kids.
Yeah.
Just like that. So I know you, and I know your wife, and I know you guys don't do anything just for money. There's always that cause, that element of being of service in there with what you do for people and with people. So could we just tap on that door real quick? What is it that makes you passionate about helping people realize a dream that in most cases for a lot of people always remains a dream and never becomes a reality? Why is that so important to you to help people get to that place?
Well, first of all, I know how difficult it is to struggle. I've had a very difficult life. I've struggled all the way through. So I know what it's like to really struggle. So I can, first of all, identify with where people are at and how they might perceive the world, especially if they're not being dealt a very good hand. Being of service, I think, is one of the most powerful and humble things that an individual can do, especially if they're ambitious and especially if they're successful. I never believe in being selfish and just doing it for your own personal gain. I think that's empty. I think it's vacuous. So my focus really is to be of service to people. That's just who I am as an individual, and for me, it's a spiritual purpose. Not everything is about money.
Right.
The money gives you choices. The money allows you to wake up, not have to worry about rent, not have to worry about bills, not have to worry about where the next meal is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff, it gets in the way of our potential, and it beats us down. And I think that the financial system and the way that it's structured is made like that on purpose to keep people down.
Foot on the neck.
and to stop people from actually achieving their true potential. So my purpose is to reverse that whole situation and give the power back to the individual and get all of that stuff that doesn't matter or shouldn't matter out of the way, and then they can access their potential, and then they can access their purpose. So for me, that's what it's about. The money is just a vehicle to get there, to get that individual working in their true capacity.
Awesome. Well, there it is right there. We're going to come back to this opportunity with MI5, but I wanted to tell me, are you still in the health and wellness, your product line and all that? You still doing that?
Yeah, we're still doing that. I took a step back from that business because my wife, she runs that company now. Yeah. There's not enough room for two of us. She's very, very accomplished now. There's nothing more that I can teach her at all. And I trained her, I taught her business and things like that. But I mean, she did have somewhere to start from. She's already a very smart businesswoman. But I taught her a lot of stuff that she didn't know. And she's running that company on her own now. I don't need to be there.
Tell everybody about that one, because I find that very interesting. And I tried to explain it last night in the car. We were, Saturday when we were at the Stevie Nicks thing, and I was saying, this guy Charlie's coming on, and he's got this. And I was talking about the stretchy stuff. Talking about that. That's amazing.
Okay, so the stretchy stuff that you're talking about is mucoid plaque. It's the natural lining of your intestines. Everyone's got a mucus lining of their intestines, but due to poor diet, poor lifestyle choices, what happens is that lining starts to coagulate, and it becomes very thick and toxic. And what that does is it stops the proper nutrient absorption through the intestinal tract, because digestion still happens in the intestines, and a lot of the nutrients then will go into the rest of the body. So with that inside of you, with that toxicity inside of you, it affects the surrounding organs, and it can affect your brain. So it can affect your mental state. It can affect your heart. It can also affect your intestinal tract, which is also a brain because it has a neural network. That can affect the head brain and also the heart brain, and it causes a whole range of problems. So my wife actually developed a way of cleansing the intestines through an irrigation process using certain products. We use certain types of clay with a psyllium husk, which is a fibrous husk that you drink as a shake. You can flavor it, different flavors and things like that. And then we have these custom formulated herbal capsules. There's actually 44 different immune boosting superfoods in every capsule. We put you on a diet. It's purely plant-based, and you'd be eating a raw vegan diet for 28 days, and we irrigate the intestines. And what happens is all of that mucus comes out, and sometimes it can come out in really long, like rope-like mucus ropes.
My family members and fellow friends of color that come from that background, it looks like chitlins. I was just gonna say, but it's real. And I remember the first time I saw that picture, that video, which at the time I was like, that's just way too much. But it got me thinking, Lord, because there are people like, I think they said Elvis, that when they passed, they had like pounds of fecal matter, like lots. I didn't even know that was possible. So what is, real quickly, real quick. There it is. Okay. 12th grade, y'all. How does a person feel after that comes out? Because I'm still curious. I'm a little scared, but I'm still, because I don't want to think, oh my God, is that really an intestine that came out? Did the wrong thing come out? How does it affect a person's vibrancy and whatnot when you get that out of there? Because you're absorbing all of what you need now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you're removing all of the toxicity, the heavy metals, even radiation, because we're constantly surrounded by EMF frequencies all the time. So the radiation actually goes into the body. Intestinal cleansing is like taking a shower. And, imagine saying to somebody that you've never taken a shower before in your entire life. Imagine how disgusted they'd be. So it's the same thing with intestinal cleansing. If you say to somebody that you've never done an intestinal cleanse before, it's just the same as saying, well, you've never taken a shower. You're not getting rid of that toxicity within the body. When the plaque comes out, it doesn't hurt. It might be a little bit peculiar when you're obviously passing a huge snake-like mucus rope.
Right.
But other than that, it doesn't hurt whatsoever. How do people feel when it comes out of them? It changes their lives.
That's what I heard.
We deal with a lot of people that are sick, a lot of people that are on medication. People are coming off their medication. We had a woman that was on medication, blood pressure medication, for over 20 years, off in 1 month off the medication.
Wow.
We've completely turned around diabetics, type 1, type 2. We had some COVID testimonials. I mean, we've got tens of thousands of case studies now. But this is a complete 360 in terms of bodily health and what it does for an individual. And it's best examined on a sick person. How dramatic that changes. It's just incredible.
I'm telling you guys, I've seen it and I've watched the videos and the testimonials, and it's really incredible. I'm most likely going to bite the bullet and give it a shot. I have a cleanse upstairs right now that I bought months ago. And every time I get it out and get started, I read about, well, it's completely vegan for the, I think it's 28 days, just like you. And then I get like, but man, I just got all that meat on sale. Right. So I put it off, but I'll talk to you about it afterwards. But listen, Charlie, can people find out? There's your Instagram, and then along the bottom is your Facebook. Can they get in touch with you there if they want to learn about the investments, but also the cleanse and whatnot, and all the other things you have available?
Yeah, they can get in touch with me on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me on Facebook as well. Just type in Charlie Xavier on Facebook. I don't think there's many Charlie Xaviers in the world.
No,
so
I doubt it.
So you'll definitely find me. And we can talk about either or. You can also go to vphasebodycleanse.com. It's just the letter V, then phase, bodycleanse.com to check out the cleanse.
Will you drop that in the comment section when we finish?
Of course, yeah.
Great, because I think I have a feeling there's some people that want to check that out. And you have those videos where on YouTube?
Yeah, we got them on YouTube. They're also on the website as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of that kind of stuff.
Look, y'all, if for no other reason, you must go and see, because that's what bugs me. I'm like, man, that big old thing is still in there. I feel like I'm carrying around, a snake or something, shedded skin, and I don't know. I just take a look. That's all I got to say. Charlie, thank you so very much for bringing all this insight today. You guys, on your screen, creeping along the bottom, is Charlie's Facebook connection. I'll drop that and his Instagram into the comments at the conclusion here in just a moment. Instagram, if that's your jam, there it is right up top. I want to thank you again. It's been way too long. I hate that I didn't get to see your wife, but tell her we said hello and we send lots of light and love. And you're welcome back anytime at all. Just let us know. Yeah, I invited you so I see how many hats. Oh, yeah, I have that here. How many hats do you own? I'm going to count mine today.
Too many. Probably about maybe 10, 12, something like that. Maybe more.
Yeah, I think it's maybe more, you guys. Charlie, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you. And thank all of you. Listen, today, get out and make the world a better place. How? Simply by showing up. Take whatever is already great to greater, whatever is strong to stronger, and whatever is kind to kinder. Do that and watch what happens. I'll meet you here tomorrow where, Charlene Madden, the author, is in the house, and we're going to have another illuminated conversation like we do every day. Thank you all for blessing me and allowing us to pour into you. Get out there and be the best. Be the change you want to see. Charlie, thank you so much, my man. Have a great day.
Pleasure.
Bye.
You too.
See you tomorrow.